So my name's Tina Del Carpio. I'm currently a fourth year PhD student at UCLA studying biology, and specifically I'm looking at genetics in wolves and how genetic material is kind of mixed around and how that can lead to some diversity within the genetics. I started at Duke for my undergrad in 2007. When I was a sophomore, I finally found my home within Duke, and that was the Chi Delta chapter of Psi U. And I graduated from there in 2011, taught biology for a little while, worked in a lab, and then in, 2017, found my way over on the West Coast for grad school at UCLA.
My name's Don Nguyen, and I graduated from Michigan State University in May of 2020. So that's the Epsilon New chapter. I graduated with a degree in microbiology and molecular genetics, and now I'm at Duke for graduate school in studying public health with a focus on global health. While I was taking some courses at Michigan State, I joined a research lab that studied fungal-like microbes, tiny organisms that you can't even see, but they can have such wide impact on people's health and the health of animals. And I knew if I wanted to do something for the rest of my life, it should be something that constantly interests me. Microbiology is constantly changing. I just love the wide applicability of microbes.
My name's Julia Dennis. I am from the Gamma Tau chapter. I graduated from Georgia Tech in biology in spring of 2019, and I am currently a first-year med student at Duke University School of Medicine.
My name is Lorenzo Lindo. Right now, I'm a master's student in oncology, so that's cancer, the study of cancer here at the University of British Columbia. I graduated with my bachelor's in biology and biochemistry from University of British Columbia in 2019. So I'm Zeta class of 2019. Right now, we're the only active Canadian chapter, so it's nice, winning this award. Proud moment for our Canadian chapter here.
Well, I'm very grateful to Psi U for enabling me to pursue this long-time dream that I've always had of becoming a doctor. It feels surreal that it's finally here and it's finally happening, and I can't tell you how happy it makes me that I have the support of my fraternity in this time.
So I entered graduate school studying biology with the aspiration that a lot of people have of wanting to be a professor and wanting to work with students and do research. But I've actually realized as I've gone through this process, and particularly as an LGBTQ and a Latinx student, that there are a lot of barriers and a lot of things that sort of continue to hold back these historically excluded groups from science and for all fields within academia. And that actually my real passion lies in sort of breaking down or fixing these systems. And so I'm interested in pursuing a career that's focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion within graduate school programs, being knowledgeable about what it takes to do a PhD and, what does it mean to be a member of this academic community is a really important step in even being an administrator in those sorts of programs. So
I told myself that I wanted to be an oncologist when I grew up, and I guess this is one of the stepping stones I'm taking to get there. So getting some research background in me, and then I'm applying to medical school right now. And what drew me to study oncology is just seeing some people in my family go through it, and I saw firsthand, the type of work that oncologists and cancer docs and researchers put in to help people to save lives, and I saw firsthand, and I want to be a part of that.
What this scholarship is helping me achieve is getting my MD degree and hopefully going into a field where I can do research. Research medicine is really important to me. I did a lot of research in my undergrad, 5 semesters in my protein lab, and then followed by a year of working in infectious disease at the CDC. And so while I haven't settled on a particular specialty yet, some of the things that interest me right now are neurology, psychiatry, and very relevantly, infectious disease.
My ultimate goal is to work in the field of public health and make changes in terms global public health in terms of infectious diseases and stuff. So very much related to what we're seeing now with COVID. So I already was planning on doing that before the pandemic hit, because that was my undergraduate major. All my research during college was related to microbes, bacteria, viruses, stuff like that. I'll be applying to medical schools next summer, and my hope is to combine what I'm learning here at Duke with a medical degree and work for the larger institutions around the world, and keep it, because this isn't going to be the first pandemic.
The scholarship is a big help. As most people know, graduate students don't make much money, but we still work full-time hours, even a little bit more than that, and we have to pay tuition. And unfortunately, our graduate stipends aren't that high. So the scholarship stuff is going to help me at least alleviate some of the financial burden of grad school, to help me focus on my work. In our work, we look at immunotherapy. So that's essentially harnessing your body's own cells to fight cancer. And I specialize in blood cancers. And the reason why we are taking this approach is so the traditional therapies involve, radiation and chemotherapy. And unfortunately, those have very, very dramatic side effects, particularly for younger individuals. As they grow older, it increases their chance of having a second cancer. Using approaches like immunotherapy, we can actually take their own cells. So in this way, we reduce the toxicity and reduce those long-term effects because it's the body's own cells, and we're essentially training them to fight cancer.
Taking advantage of opportunities like this should be what every Psi should consider, just because the fact that Psi values education in this way says a lot about the overlying principles of the core of what matters to this fraternity. And so I think that taking advantage of opportunities where you have funding through educational grants is huge for every student, because we all know that education has been getting more and more expensive. And so any way to alleviate that financial burden is huge. And later on, it just gives you a sense of camaraderie with the community, with the fraternity, because then you can think back like, oh, they helped me, at these steps in my life. And hopefully one day when I'm making more money, I can look back and be like, Psi helped me as a stepping stone financially when I didn't have as much. Education is a great tool to have, and that, I think it's great that Psi supports that mission.
Obviously, it's a really wonderful opportunity that Psi presents you with, and it's something that I'm immensely grateful for.
But yeah, no, Psi gave me a lot when I was in undergrad. I was a very timid kid starting out in university. I was very shy. I wasn't really talkative. I kind of kept to myself, and it was one of those things that really opened me up and helped me, gain the confidence just to be more outgoing. And it really served me well, because now my reputation here at work is I'm more well-versed in presentations and public speaking, and I'm more comfortable doing that. Whereas if you asked me 5 years ago if I'd be comfortable, standing in front of an audience of 200 like I did today, I would have said no. But today I'm very happy to do that.
One of the things I valued about Psi is having these social connections that sort of transcend geography and time. I'm realizing that we hadn't really met in person, but we still already have sort of this connection and rapport, and just realizing that I have that with pretty much every Psi brother I've met along the way has really been one of the things that's been important to me about being a brother.
I'm definitely thankful for Psi to opening up the doors to the people I met through Psi, through my my pledge class, to older brothers, to younger brothers. So kind of this network of shared interest in an area, and helping support each other through older guys and younger guys. I think it's great kind of community that in that aspect, but also the people who aren't necessarily in my field, who I've lived with and that are my best friends to this day, that I may never met, if it wasn't for Psi. It's really great that I have that diverse group of friends that were brought together from Psi. So I'm very thankful for that fraternal aspect.